Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Hari Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishna. Readings and Reflections. The Life of Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi. The readings are done from this book, Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi, written by Swami Gambhirananda. We are on the 13th chapter with the devotees, page 166. From Puri, she returned to Calcutta on the 12th January 1889, and the next day she bathed in the Ganges at Neemtola. She visited the Kali temple at Kalighat on the 22nd. On the 5th February, she went with Swamis Vivekananda, Sardananda, Yogananda, and Premananda, as also Master Mahashaya, Sanyal Mahashaya, and many others, to Atpur, the birthplace of Swami Premananda. After spending about a week there, she left for Kamarpukur by a bullock cart. Master Mahashaya and some others accompanied her. Her stay at this time at Kamarpukur was almost as long as the first one. Then she came to Calcutta and took up her residence on the banks of the Ganga at Belur in the rented house of Raju Gumasta. From there she went on the 5th March 1890 to Master Mahashaya's house at Kambulia Tola, Calcutta, from where she went on a pilgrimage to Gaya with the old Swami Advaitananda. After the passing away of his mother, the master had asked the Holy Mother to go to Gaya to offer oblation at the well-known Vishnupada, footprints of Vishnu. The mother now carried out the command. She took this opportunity to visit Vaidyanath on the way, and from Gaya she went to Bodh Gaya also. On the completion of this pilgrimage, she returned to Master Mahashaya's house on the 2nd April. Just then, Balaram Babu lay gravely ill. The mother remembered well his services to the master and the latter's love for him, and therefore she shifted to his house to be at his bedside during his last days. The great devout soul passed away on the 13th April 1890. A month later, she moved over to a rented house on the Ganges at Guzudi, near Belur, near the local crematorium. When she was there, an irresistible desire to go out in quest of the unknown was aroused in Swami Vivekananda's heart, and he decided to leave the monastery and wander about the country for some time in quest of illumination. But he felt strongly inclined to seek the mother's blessing before he started. Coming therefore to her one day in July, he made a long and reverential prostration, sang to her some devotional songs, and then expressed his heart's desire. Mother, if I can become a man in the true sense of the term, then only shall I return. Otherwise, this will be my last farewell. Taken aback, the mother said, "You don't say so." The Swami said, "No, no, by your grace I shall soon come back." The mother could understand the depth of her son's aspiration, and to her divine vision appeared clearly the picture of his bright future. Hence she blessed him heartily and asked him to return after enlightenment and fulfillment of his mission. Immensely inspired by her good wishes, Swamiji left for a tour of the holy places of India. The mother lived in that house till the month of Bhadra, August-September. Then she had to be taken to Saurindra Thakur's house at Baranagar, across the river, for treatment for dysentery, from which she was suffering. The then Ramakrishna Mutt was not far from his house, so that it was easier for the monks to arrange for her comfort and medical care. After she became well, she went to the house of Balaram Babu, preparatory to her departure for Jairambati by way of Kamarpukur after the Durga worship, sometime in October. Of the events of her stay there, the details available are not very clear, though an account of what happened during the Jagadadri worship that year, that is 10th November 1891, shows clearly that the mother had then been fully established in her motherhood and that her divinity too had become acknowledged among intimate acquaintances. At that time, Swami Saradananda went to Jairambati to attend the worship of the deity, and with him went Sanyal Mahashaya, Harmohan Mitra, Kali Krishna, later Swami Virjananda, Golapma, and Yoginma. They reached Bardwan by train and went from there to Kamarpukur by bullock cart. After they had seen the master's birthplace, they covered the rest of the way to Jairambati on foot. The mother's joy knew no bounds at the sight of her beloved children. She was ever busy attending to their needs. Every day, she dressed the vegetables and prepared special dishes for them, and then served the food and sat by them to see that they were fully satisfied. Her affection touched the deepest chords of their hearts. She was more particularly attentive to the young novitiate Kali Krishna, who was still in his teens. She received him as a veritable son and kissed him by touching his chin. The Bengali mothers touched the chins of their grown-up children with the tips of their right hand fingers and then kissed those fingers. The Holy Mother followed this custom in the case of very young disciples. The word kiss in this volume means this only. He ran errands for the elders and had free access everywhere. He had often to go to the inner apartments to fetch beetles, tiffin, or fire for the tobacco pipes. As it is not customary to hand over fire directly to a son, the Holy Mother placed the burning charcoal or cow dung cake on the ground for him to pick it up with a pair of tongs. A dead body is cremated by setting fire to it. Because of this evil association, mothers do not directly hand over fire to their children. Shyama Sundari Devi was addressed by them as grandmother. She was simple and diligent. There was no end to her daily round of duties: tending the cattle, feeding the laborers, husking paddy, and such other tasks closely followed one another. And yet, she was all smiles for everyone. There was no sign of anger or annoyance. The mother also was always at her side. Grandmother looked upon the devotees as her grandchildren, for whose welfare she was extremely solicitous. The call grandma pleased her as nothing else. This natural love for the grandchildren continued all through her life, and even those who went to Jairambati much later had an unforgettable touch of her warm heart. Throughout the year, she would be busy laying by things for her grandchildren and declaring, "Mine is a family of God and His devotees." So, welcome to the 38th week. We have been reading this book, Life of Holy Mother, written by Swami Gambhiranandaji. Last week, just today morning, I was reminded by one devotee, and also during this week, several devotees wrote to me that don't jump to the next passage before completing the last week's the suspense story that you left there. So I think I must continue the story and complete it so that our devotees get happiness. So they have warned me that just don't forget it. So to 2, 3 persons I wrote, why don't you look at Google and find out the rest of the story? It's very easy to get nowadays, all these stories. So, but they said, no, we would like to hear from your mouth. So let me continue the story. But then many people during this Zoom, we are having Zoom as well as YouTube, you see. So generally we have YouTube for this class, not Zoom. So I do not know overall there. Zoom, quite a good number of people I'm seeing here. And most of them perhaps I do not know also. There's most of the names. Yes, I'm seeing here quite a good number of names. Okay, but so they may not know the story that I left last week. So it is really a dilemma for me whether to repeat the whole story will not be possible. But briefly, I will tell you where I left last week. So last week we were talking about a great place, a place of pilgrimage for the Hindus, the place called Puri. Puri is a place that falls in the eastern parts of Bharat, that is India. So you find that the eastern part, we have Bengal, we have Odisha, and some parts of Andhra Pradesh also. Actually, the whole east, if you take the Indian map, if you see, so from Bengal onwards, or even above that, northern side, from the tribal lands, from there onwards, from the Arunachal Pradesh onwards, if you see, one after another, these are all eastern part, till you go to Kanyakumari. But then I'm not considering that east as east, but this eastern part, these are mostly, they come under the south. But then the eastern part of India, Puri is one of the important kshetra, a place of pilgrimage. And this place of pilgrimage has gained importance. Of course, it was important earlier days also we find, but then it gained much importance after the establishment of two factors. One was the Jagannatha Swami's temple. That temple is a grand attraction for people to go to Puri. If you go to India, then if you go to eastern part of India, then you don't miss visiting Puri because it's very nearby, well connected by plane and train and by road. So people go to that place and see the Jagannatha Swami temple. It is Lord Krishna is called Jagannatha, and that temple is a massive temple, and it has got a Odisha architecture, which is very unique in its own way. And that temple is a wonderful temple where we even think that why Sri Ramakrishna did not visit Puri. For that, explanation is given that if he had gone there, he would not have come back in his body. He went to Benares, he went to Devghar, he went to all these places, other places of pilgrimage, but not to Puri. The moment he used to utter the word Jagannath, Sri Ramakrishna used to go into trance. And in his room, he used to keep the Mahaprasad of Puri. In Puri, prasad, prasad means a sacred thing that is offered to the Lord. That is called prasad. So it's called Mahaprasad, the great or the grand prasad. What is that Puri's grand prasad? The grand prasad is rice grains, and that is offered to Lord Jagannatha. And that rice grain is one grain every day Sri Ramakrishna used to take. He had so much respect for that prasad. And it is said that it is a wonderful way to remove the evil thoughts in the mind. So if anybody is suffering from evil thoughts and being assailed by evil thoughts, then in India, they prescribe this as a medicine. So the Mahaprasad grain is taken, one grain only. It's a packet like this comes. So there are so many grains are there, all rice only, but offered prasad. So one grain is enough. So such a great. And second point is there is Govardhan Mutt. Mata means, this is called a monastery. So there is a monastery, a Govardhan monastery, instituted by Adi Shankaracharya. And that is second factor that attracts people to go to Puri. Of course, for those who go for relaxation purpose, the Puri seashore is one of the marvelous seashore. You don't find the waves as you find in Puri seashore. Puri seashore, I used to go there. We have a mutt ashram there in the Puri seashore itself. So in the mutt, if you go there and stay in the first floor, from your room, from the cot you are sitting, you through the window you can see the sea. And all the time the roaring waves sound is coming. It's such a wonderful place. And the very seashore itself, we have got an ashram there. And there is another ashram, it's called Ramakrishna Mission Branch. This is Ramakrishna Mutt branch. There is a Ramakrishna Mission branch a little away in the city. That's also a very beautiful place. So we find that Puri's waves are huge, particularly on Purnima days, on the full moon nights. You can hear the roaring waves, as they call it. The waves come very large height, and it's beautiful to see. Sometimes very scary also. Now, this Puri Kshetra, I was telling about this story of Jagannatha, that in those old days, actually the story starts from Sarla Dasa's Mahabharata. One great Odisha poet was there, Sarla Dasa. He was a great, like a Kalidasa. Kalidasa is a great poet in Sanskrit. Likewise, in Odia language, he was a great poet. He wrote Mahabharata and some other poems also. So in Mahabharata, he writes that Lord Krishna, how did he leave his body? So most of the people do not know how he left his body. In Ram's case, Ram, Lakshmana, Bharat, Shatrughna, Sita already gone. So these four people, they went to Sarayu Nadi, Sarayu river, and then left their body and merged, and they went to Vaikuntha, it is said. But how did Krishna leave his body? So the story goes like that. He was one day tired and then sitting on the tree. It was quite a lot of bush was there and tree leaves were there. Only his foot was on a branch and only the big toe was visible. And the big toe was so beautiful and it looked like a deer's eye. So from distance, one hunter saw it and he aimed his arrow and the arrow struck his toe and the arrow, and that because of that, Sri Krishna left his body, it is said. Now this hunter takes birth after many aeons, after many ages. He takes birth and as a chief of a tribal society in Odisha. Now let him be there. Now this story comes here. Now here, Sri Krishna has passed away. Now Krishna's body has to be cremated. Today morning only we talked about Swamiji's body, how it was kept on the pyre and it was cremated. The same way, so that is the Hindu tradition. Cremating a body, dead body, and it's making the body completely disintegrate into the five primordial sources. So it will go into mix. Water portion will mix with water, the space portion will mix with space, and the fire portion will mix with fire. Like that, the whole body will be disintegrated. Then what remains is the ashes. So the ashes are taken, and the ashes are taken and placed in the rivers, particularly in Ganges, they take. So I'm coming to that later. But now, when Krishna's body was burned, the heart of Krishna was not getting burnt at all. So Arjuna, who was doing this service, and he threw that on the ocean in Dwaraka, because Krishna was staying in Dwaraka, the western portion of India. He was in there. And then that heart was moving in the waters. And after a long time, it reached Puri shores of the ocean. That means from the west, it came to the east. It is called Neel Madhav. The Neel Madhav is a very, very sacred thing because it is Krishna's heart. And even now, the great rishis believe that it is there. It is kept in the Lord Jagannatha's image. It is kept inside. Like that, there is a belief. Now, and that is because of that, it attracts people. Thousands of miles away, people come to have the darshan of Puri Jagannatha, it is because of that Neel Madhav is kept within that body, they say. Now, this has come now. Now, the same hunter who killed Sri Krishna, the same hunter is born, as I told you. He found the Neel Madhav floating in the waters. And he was thrilled. He immediately had the realization, this is Krishna's. So he took a lot of care and kept in a cave. Naturally, nothing can be kept secretly, and the news spreads, and people started coming to the cave and started seeing it and getting benefited. So slowly the news went to one king, Indradumna. Then he comes. He sends, actually, is one of his own brother-in-law, as they say, or the minister, Vidyapati, and he comes and he falls in love with the chief's daughter and he gets married to her. After the marriage, everything is over, everything becomes normal. Then he asks his father-in-law, can you show me the Neel Madhav? And father-in-law was stunned. So why he wants to see? Will he take it away to his kingdom? That was his fear. He said, no, I will inform my king who wants to have darshan of that. So he was blindfolded and the chieftain takes him to that cave so that he doesn't identify the route for that cave. And before that, he consults his wife. The wife is a tribal girl, but she's very, very intelligent. She gives him an idea. I will collect a packet of mustard seeds. And while you're walking, you just sprinkle that mustard seed. When my father doesn't look at you. When you are walking, you just sprinkle it. So he sprinkled like that. So after a few months, they sprouted. And when mustard seeds sprouted, everything is yellow, yellow, yellow. So next time when he went back and brought the king, so he knew the way to the cave. So by that he identified the cave. And when they opened the cave, well, the Neel Madhav was missing. So the king got so much upset. He was a great devotee of Sri Krishna. He said, hey Krishna, I came all the way for you and overcoming all the hardships. And now I come in here and you are not anymore there. What is this? Show me. Then he fasted unto death. Till death I will fast. He didn't eat at all. And then Krishna appears to him in a vision and tells him, I will come in the form of a log of wood. In the sea, you will find many logs will be there, but one log, my insignia will be there. What is Vishnu's insignia or Krishna's insignia? The chakra, that is, what do you call that? That's Sudarshan chakra. And then Shankh, that is conch shell. And then lotus flower. And then Gada, that mace. These are the 4 items you will find in one log. And you make an idol of me and put it in the temple. So now the king calls many sculptors. Huge number of sculptors come and they all claim that we will do. And king says, okay, start your work. It's because the log was found and then it was taken to the temple place. And the sculptor takes his chisel and touches it enough. The chisel breaks into pieces. So no sculptor could do any single tap also he could do. So all the sculptors fail. The king again goes on fast. He said fasting is the best way to convince the Lord. And even today we all fast, and we think by fasting we can get the Lord's grace because he doesn't like his devotees to fast. So if you fast, what happens? It's a threat to the Lord. He says, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, when the lady devotees used to come to him in the morning, say by 11 o'clock or so, and he would meet them and he said, did you eat food? He said, no, I am fasting today. He said, no, what fasting? Go to mother. And Sarada is there. Go to her and eat well. He would never like, ladies particularly fasting. But master would not be happy with that. Why? The Lord is also like that. If you tell him that I am going to fast 3 days, well, what do you want? I will give you, he says. So the Lord is so kind. So he fasted again. Again, Lord appeared to him and said, okay, tomorrow one sculptor will come, you give him that work. Next day, when the sculptor comes, and the sculptor looks so brilliant. She was almost like Lord, so much of luminosity. And the king and the queen were enamored of him. And he says, King, don't worry, I will do the sculpting. But one condition, 21 days I will be there inside closing the doors. No one should open the door. If you agree to that condition, I will do my job. King said, okay, because none is able to do it. And he says, okay, this is condition, nothing. But the queen was full of mother's heart. 1 day, 2 days, 15 days gone. She's telling the king, what that man is eating. He's doing the sculpting work. We are hearing the sound. You know, when the chisel falls on that wood, that sound we are hearing day and night without any stop. So, and then when is he eating? And he doesn't have anything inside. So I have prepared so many items today. You take it inside, open the door. Then king prayed to her. See, don't do that because he has given that condition and we have accepted that. But then the king did not accept that. So that finally the door opened. And when they opened the door, the sculptor is not there. So it is said Lord Jagannatha himself came as a sculptor. And then he was sculpting his own murtis there, his own images. And there, when they found, what they found? They found 4 murtis are there. One is Jagannatha, another is Balabhadra, that is Balaram, that is his elder brother, and his sister, Subhadra. And then the chakra, you know, the, what do you call that in English? Huh? Yes, wheel you can say, yes. The chakra was there, that is also a small image there. Discuss, correct, thank you. Who said that?
Sharanya, Swamiji.
Oh, Sharanya, thank you. Thank you. Discuss. So the discuss was there. So 4 images are there in the temple. But when you go there, you won't see the 4. The discuss image is kept behind Lord Jagannath, so it is not visible. Only the 3 are visible, generally. Now, this, and the king was stunned. Why? The images were partly completed, not full. That's why you see that wooden image is not fully according to any image that you find of gods and goddesses. It is big eyes are there, only the eyes in the face, and then 2 hands are like this, half finished, and the wood, all made of wood. So there it stands. So this is a story of the legend that says how the Jagannath Murti came there. But you know, there is another beautiful story in the Vaishnavas. The Vaishnavas means the worshippers of Vishnu and Krishna. They speak about why this became. They say during Krishna's reign, Krishna was reigning in Dwaraka, and they all go for a pilgrimage. So they have come to Odisha, that is the present place. And the temple was not there. Of course, temple was constructed much later. The temple that we find now, it was constructed in 11th century or so. So before that, the temple was in a different size. And you know, Odisha was a place where it is a confluence of different cultures coming together. You can say that is the one place which was not kept absolutely puritanical. That means only one tradition. There are different traditions coming to that. Tribal tradition was a big tradition that mingled there. Then Aryan traditions were already there. Then Dravidian traditions entered into that. Like that, different traditions came mingled there. And in the meantime, Muslim rulers came. Yavanas came. Yavanas were a big portion of India they were ruling, particularly the eastern and northern portion. They were there. So a lot of traditions are mingled into that Odisha. It's a beautiful state of India. So I admire that state. You know, I went to Bhubaneswar and Puri and stayed for a few days. And I can see that that state has got a confluence of all types of different cultures, and it's a beautifully merging together, and all are living very peacefully there. That is the beauty of that place. Now, this, because why I'm telling is that when the Vaishnavas came there, third to 5th century, in the history we see, Jainas were ruling there. Jaina Dharma, Jains were there. It's one of the religions of India that you know. It was born in India. And these Jains were very widely prevalent. So their practices were actually percolated to the society, even to the common man. So Jains were there. And then from 5th to 7th century, you find the Vaishnava, Buddhism came. The Buddhists were there. Plenty of Buddhist temples you can find in Bhubaneswar and other places in Odisha. Likewise, then Shaivas and then Vaishnavas came. Ramanujacharya of the Vaishnava, he had traveled to that place. Even Adi Shankaracharya had gone there. So Shaivism and Vaishnavism also were there. So with all that, it's a confluence, as I said, it's a sangam of all the different cultures there. Now, they keep this in mind. This will help you when I come to Adi Shankara's part. Now here, the Vaishnavis say that when Krishna came there with all the Maharanis, that Krishna had three prominent queens in Dwaraka. Satyabhama, the Rukmini, and then Jambavati. These are the three queens Krishna had. So he has brought them also. And he has brought Yashoda Maya and others also known to him. So all have come for a pilgrimage. And they were all staying there. One day, what was very peculiar about Krishna at that time was suddenly he would shout, Radhe, Radhe, and go into Samadhi. He will forget his body and mind. He's sitting somewhere and he's repeating the name of Radha, Radhe, 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 and he will forget himself. Now, these three queens, Jambavati and Satyabhama and Rukmini, all the three, they were used to wonder, who is this Radha? We have never heard about her. We have never seen in Dwaraka. And he coming to this place, he is only shouting Radhe, Radhe, in the sleep also. Suddenly you would get up, Radhe, 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 and you start doing japam. So Radha's japam he used to do. So they were very curious to know. They said, asking Krishna is no use because he is not going to tell. So who can say this? Because in his childhood days, he was in Brindavan. So this lady, Radha, must be belonging to the Brindavan days, the younger days. So he must have fallen in love with her. That's why he's remembering her. Like that they concluded. And the best person to ask is to Yashoda Maya. So they call Yashoda one day and ask her, can you tell the childhood days of Krishna, our beloved husband? I know everybody like that. Even when we meet somebody of our guru's relations particularly, generally we ask, our devotees ask, so in his high school, where did he study? Where he went? What was he doing in the younger days? Like that we ask, out of interest. So the three queens asked Yashoda, the foster mother of Sri Krishna. And Yashoda said, I can tell you what all happened in Vrindavan with this named lady, Radha, but then it cannot be spoken out in public. If you take a room and stay there, and the condition is nobody should enter the room, then I can tell. Okay, the door was closed, and Subhadra, the three queens are there inside, and they were wondering whom to keep as a guard to that gate. Then they saw Subhadra. So Subhadra is the brother of Krishna. So they told Subhadra, you come and stand there outside. And then stand outside and don't allow anybody. Even if Krishna comes, don't allow. So they went inside. The three queens and Yashoda was there. And Yashoda was repeating the Krishna Leela of Brindavan. One of the most interesting story in the Krishna's life that will make you melt when you hear it. And that part of the story of Krishna is this Brindavan Leela, as it is called. Even if you go to Brindavan nowadays, you find people are enacting the Krishna Leela. That is, Leela means the play. the drama of Krishna during his Brindavan days. It is so moving play. And how much joy and how much wonderful events have happened there. And Yashoda, while telling, she's the mother, you remember, but then while telling that, she is full of tears. And the three Ranis, three queens who are hearing that, they are also shedding tears. And standing outside, Subhadra is shedding tears. Seeing Subhadra standing for a long time, Krishna and Balaram not finding their sister, they came running and searching for her. They found her standing there. So Krishna stood to the right side of Subhadra, Balaram stood to the left side of Subhadra. They are also putting their ears to the door and listening. Now, when you become emotional, your tone doesn't remain in the normal level. You know, either you screech or your tone goes up. Like that, the emotion actually takes it away. So Yashoda was telling like that. She told that nobody should hear. But then she herself was speaking so loudly, and the three persons are standing there. And the Krishna Leela is so absorbingly interesting. And these people are shedding tears. The three queens are shedding tears. Outside the gate, outside the door, the three people are, that is Krishna, Balaram, and Subhadra, are shedding tears and melting. And when the story was completed, it was half melted stage. They were there. When the door was opened, Yashoda and the three queens look at that. Terrible. What has happened to Krishna? His form is not there. What has happened to his face? Only the two big eyes are there. And then, where is his nose? Nose has gone inside. And his lips are terrible. It has become big. And his body is like half pygmy-like. And his two hands, only half are there. For all the three. So, by hearing the Krishna Leela, how a man's heart can melt. That is the beautifully Vaishnavism. Vaishnava scholars say this. And that's how you find in Jagannatha, Lord Krishna stays like that. Now this part, now I told you that the king in the 11th century who was ruling Odisha at that time, he wanted a girl for his prince. In those days, India was not a one political entity. India, as a Bharat it is called, this Bharat nation was a nation, but not a one country politically. But then spiritually it is all one. Whether you go to Kashi, or you go to Rameshwaram, or you go to Badrinath, the people's mindset, in whatever language they speak, whatever culture they had, but they all spiritually, they are all one-minded. They all believed in the Vedas. Anywhere you go, they all believed in the Mahabharata, Ramayana. They knew the stories. In their own language, they knew. One may not know Hindi, one may not know Telugu, one may not know this, but in his own language, he knew this. And they all knew the law of karma. It was universally. Anywhere you go, a child also can tell you law of karma. And anywhere you go, they believe in the reincarnation. All these ideas, the Hindu ideas, as you say, they were all percolated to the whole society of the Bharat, of the India. Such a great country, big country it is. But then the ideas of the people are not, these are there inherent. So for a born Hindu, the reincarnation or taking another birth is not a problem at all. That boy never questions this principle. When you come to West, then we hear people asking about this. Is it true that did I have my past birth? Will I have my future birth? Etc. They are asking. But these things, a Hindu boy or girl would never ask because they are ingrained in the psyche of a Hindu. So when you are born to a particular tradition, certain tradition followed by the en masse people, that falls into your mind and it stays. So that's how in every tradition you find the tradition is embedded in the mind of the people who are born into that tradition. So you don't need to tell the ABCD of those things to them. They are very fully aware of that. So likewise, this Odisha, that at the 11th century, he took his daughter-in-law, he went to southern India from Kanchi. He brought a Shaivite king's daughter as his daughter-in-law. And she came. And this prince later becomes the king. In his time, the massive structure that we find today was erected. Now, he was a Shaivite. He was not a Vaishnavite. He did not belong to Vaishnava thoughts. He has belonged to the Shaivite thoughts. And Shankaracharya, during the 8th century, he had gone to that place. He has established one of his 4 mutts, Govardhan Mutt was established there. So, Shankaracharya, as we know, Adi Shankara, he was the harbinger or is the beginner of bringing a close knit unity among the different faiths in the Hinduism. What Hinduism we say now is solely due to Adi Shankara. Otherwise, we were not like this. In Adi Shankara's time, this present Hinduism formation was not there. We were divided into 6 subsects. There was no one common name as there. Though we all used to take pride in Vedas and used to call Sanatana Dharma. But then we had different faiths. So there were 6 faiths were there. And all these 6 faiths, Adi Shankara brought together and combined and gave a unified faith, which we call present day Hinduism. This is what revived by Swami Vivekananda in the modern days. So that Hinduism was, when Adi Shankara visited Odisha, so he brought Shaivas and Vaishnavas, that is the worshippers of Shiva, worshippers of Vishnu, they brought them together. And then in that temple, everybody can come. So all those who belong to worshippers of Vishnu and Krishna, they can come and worship Jagannatha. All those who belong to the Shaiva tradition, like Lord Shiva, they can go there and worship Bimala Devi, who is Parvati. Parvati's shrine is there in the temple. So people go there and worship. So it is an integration of all cultures. And that type of wonderful place that Puri is there, where mother went. And you can understand mother's humility before Jagannath. When Balram Bose had one house there. So there mother went and stayed. So that Pandit is telling to mother, mother, you are coming from our master's place and you are Ramakrishna's wife, your guru's wife. So we cannot take you just by walking. So I am arranging a palanquin. In those days, palanquins were available. I will send you a palanquin. You get into the palanquin and then I will take you to the temple. She said, no, nothing doing. I am an ordinary woman, like any other ordinary woman visiting the temple to see the Lord. Likewise, I would like to go. So don't send palanquin. Rather, you come, you walk before me as my guide. I will follow you. And Holy Mother walked all the way from the house of Balrams to the place of the temple. She used to go there every day when she stayed there. And she had a great bhava. She had great bhava. Bhava means the emotion, surging. And she didn't know what to do. Such emotions used to come. And she has seen Sri Ramakrishna in her visions, that place. So that's such a holy place that So that is how Adi Shankara integrated that place into Shaivism also. And that place is one of the remarkable place even till today. So mother went to Puri and enjoyed the place, and then she visited the temple many times, and also some other places also associated with Puranas are there in Puri. Those places also she visited, and we saw that she returned to Calcutta. Here in these 3 passages, what we find is that mother's itinerary is given in a very fast way. Each place, there is not much details are available. So she came to Calcutta, she stayed at Nimtola, and then she went to Kalighat. Like that, one by after another, in one sentence, has been given. So, and author Swami Gambhirananji himself says that you see, we do not have much details about these places and what mother did and what, because nobody wrote it down, nobody kept anything. That is what. So he couldn't get properly all those things. But one of the important point that I see here that we can, I must give some more attention to that is Sri Ramakrishna, before he is leaving the body, advised to Holy Mother one important thing. He says, after the passing away of his mother, the master had asked the Holy Mother to go to Gaya to offer oblation at the well-known Vishnupada temple. There is a place called Gaya that comes in Bihar now. Previously we used to call northern Bihar and southern Bihar. You know, Ranchi, two people are sitting here. I am so happy to see Ranchi people here, you know, because I was in Ranchi for 12 years. So two devotees are sitting in front of me from Ranchi in Ireland. So this near Ranchi, the place is there, Gaya. And Gaya is a place, it's also very, very holy. How it has become holy and auspicious, you know. As I told you, all over India, certain spiritual thoughts are embedded in the minds of ordinary Hindu. One of the thoughts is that after death, an oblation of the ashes, taking to Gaya and doing the last rites, as they are called, obsequies, a very terrible word is there in English. So I do not know whether I am pronouncing properly or not that word. So that word is there. Very rarely use the word. So that obsequies are done. That means rituals connected to the departed soul. That is done in Gaya. You can do it Benares, you can do it Rishikesh, you can do it any place. But Gaya has got a specialty. Why? What is the specialty there? People die of death comes to people in two methods. One is simple natural death, as we call. The age is over. So a man is 85, 90-year-old, and every day, as usual, he gets up and sits and then takes breakfast, and just he wants to lie down and he goes into sleep, eternal sleep. Very, very normal death, we call it. We call it a normal death. So when people cry around him, when we go there, we tell them, hey, why are you crying? He has a normal death. So normal death is considered to be a very punya. It is considered as a meritorious. Unless he has got a good karma, he won't have a normal death. Otherwise, you suffer and go to hospitals, suffering for long days, and then you die. That death is not considered as a normal death. Now, another form of death is there, which death happens through accidents. Accidents can be many, either vehicle accident or it can be suicides. Nowadays, suicide is a very big thing. We are all talking everywhere. In every country, suicide has become a problem. When I was in Singapore, I used to hear the high incidence of suicide rate in Singapore. We used to hear, and it was alarming. And in other countries also we see children are committing suicide nowadays. Such terrible things are happening. So when suicide is committed, what happens to the soul that comes out of the body? When a person meets with an accident and he dies there on the spot, as they say, then what happens to that soul? So the general belief in the tradition is that person was supposed to die at a particular age according to his previous life's karma and thoughts, that is bhavana. Karma and bhavana decide how many years you are going to live in this world, in this present birth. So if your last birth's karma and last birth bhavana, that is the thoughts, have made you to live for 85 years, for instance, and that person meets with an accident and dies at the age of 72. What happens for the remaining period? In the remaining period, the soul remains as a spirit. It is not released from its bondage to this world. So, if a man commits at a young age suicide, and his age is supposed to be at a very long, old age, so many years he has to stay in the spirit world. It is called Pitru Loka. So there are several lokas are there. Recently, I was talking to the another Brian, because another Brian is sitting here. So there is another Brian who comes, and we are talking about the souls passing through the different lokas. So according to Puranas, the mythology, we believe in 14 lokas are there. Lokas means a spot, a place where the departed soul goes. Undeparted or the birth that is happening in this loka. This is called Bhuloka. Bhuloka means the earth, where we are all born. We have the body, physical body. But there are another 13 places, 13 lokas, where the soul comes out of the body and goes and takes a residence. Which loka you will go? Which loka are you deserving to go? That depends upon, in this world, what karma you are doing. If you do exemplary charity, you go to Maharloka, one of the top lokas. Just for a conception, I am telling you, though it is not like that exactly. The Puranas themselves say it is not to be thought of like this, but for just to conceive the idea, the Puranas depict like this, like in a graphical form. What is the graph in here? This is Bhumi, where we are born with a physical body. Above us, there are 7 lokas, and below us, there are 6 lokas. So 6 plus 1 Bhumi and plus 7, total 14 lokas. So in any of the lokas, I may go after my death. So that portion, which loka I am ready to enter, I require a password to enter. That password is created by the present activity of karma and my bhavana. These two will make it a very peculiar type of password. Difficult to break it, hack it out. So that password is created. Now then you enter that loka and stay till you get next birth in this bhumi, in this loka. So our life of this is called a cycle of birth and death. In short, there is a small word is there in Sanskrit. It's called samsara. Samsara means it's a cycle of birth and death. And we have been coming like this. For many, many births we have taken. We do not know how many births we took. And we do not know how many births are yet to be taken. At least for those who have entered the spiritual life, their future births are much, much reduced, I should say. Otherwise, it will be huge number, we do not know. So at least that much we can be confident, yes, not many births. Okay. Now, these lokas are there. You go there and come back. Now, a person who dies prematurely, I'm talking about that death, that soul will stubbornly sticking to this earth and going around wherever it wants, because it is a spirit body, it's a mind only. So it can think, today I want to go to Australia. It will be in Australia the next moment. So it can go anywhere because the body is not there. There is no restriction. Mind can move anywhere. Even when our mind, we can think of going to India. I can think, I am in Belur tomorrow. I can be there. So mentally I can visit any place. So in that way, the spirit body can go anywhere. But it will be moving in this Bhuloka. Now the problem is, any body, the spirit body that comes out of this physical body must be cut off from this attachment to this loka so that it can progress. It can go on its own journey to different other lokas where it is destined to go and stay for some time. That journey has to proceed. That's why in Hindu tradition, we do not say, may the soul rest in peace, R.I.P. We do not say that. Because there is no resting for the soul. The soul leaves the body and it has to go in a journey. And there are long journeys there till it takes birth again. So the journey must continue. So that's why we say when a person dies, and don't shed tears so much and think all the time and then bring him back, because he cannot come. If he wants to come back also, he cannot come. And he is going, and you are only putting obstruction to his further journey. That is very bad, they say. So allow him to go. In his spirit world, let him pass through any of the locality, proceed. You should not bring him back to this. Some people use medium, etc. You must have heard about that. Even in Ireland, people believe in medium, and they go to medium and ask, what happened to my son who has passed away? What has happened to my mother who passed away? Where is she? Etc. And the mediums tell them, yes, he is all right. He is with his forefathers, and he is very happy in the place where he is staying. They say that. But it may go against the theology of your faith. But then I'm telling you, it's different. That's a different story. But the medium say, yes, I talked to him. Like that they say. Now, this body, the spirit body, has to be detached from the bhuloka. For that, you require a specific ritual. And that ritual can be successful if it is done in Gaya. That's why Gaya has become very important in a Hindu's life. Every Hindu would know this, that when you go to Gaya, you must do oblations. Suppose in your family, nobody has died like that. All have got normal deaths or some disease and then died like that. It doesn't matter. Even if you go there, to your forefathers, you must do that Tarpan Kriya, it is called, obsequies. You should perform that for your forefathers who has passed away. Sri Ramakrishna could not go there, but Swami Vivekananda went. And other direct disciples went. Holy Mother had been there. And Sri Ramakrishna specifically asked Holy Mother when his mother passed away, because he knew he would not go to Gaya. If he goes to Gaya, he won't come back. He knew that. So he didn't go at all. But he told Holy Mother, you go to Gaya and do these last rites of my mother. He said. So mother went there. And she had a normal death, of course. No abnormal death, normal death. But then, as I told you, even for normal dead souls, you can do that tradition, the rituals there. Why we should do that? Because there is, if you go to Gaya, there is a Vishnu temple, they call it, but there is no, at the center place, there is no Vishnu's idol. Vishnu's idol only this size. It is kept on the wall. In the side of the wall, you find a small inlet, and there Vishnu's idol is kept. But where is the main puja is being done? Down below on the ground. If you look at the ground and say, where is the idol of Lord Vishnu? You won't find him there. What is there? Vishnu's 2 feet impressions on a stone is there. And that is called Vishnu Pada. Pada means feet. So Vishnu Pada is there, 2 feet. And normally if you look at it, you can't find the feet. You know, feet has got a structure. It goes like this and then comes, and 5 toes are there, and then it comes like this, and then there is a coming closer to, and then it goes like that. So that type of pictures you can very clearly see in the evening time when they do milk abhishek, when they pour the milk over that stone. And they pour the milk, because all the milk, rest of the milk will come down, and in that curve, in that groove, the milk stays there. So you can see that very clearly. 2 beautiful feet of Lord Vishnu. And it is said, there was, according to mythology, there was one demon was there who was called Gaya Asur. And this Gaya Asur was a huge body he had. A body from head to foot will go 10 miles distance. And nobody could do anything to him because he was a demon. So demonic thoughts he had, and he was making the people suffer. So all the people pray to Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu is the protector of this world, that is his duty. So Vishnu comes to this Gaya place and he makes him lie down. He makes him, if he falls down because of the Vishnu's chakra, and then Vishnu stands on his stomach. And that has become a stone now. So that portion of the body of the Gayasur has become the stone where Vishnu stood. So his footprints are there. So it's a very, very holy place. And if you go there, everybody comes for those departed souls, and things are being done, the rituals are being done. See, here, people are sitting with their pandits, and the rituals are going on, from morning to night, morning to evening. After sunset, they don't do it. So sunset, when you go there to the temple, an eerie feeling you get, as if all the departed souls are moving around there.
It's very windy, sir.
Very windy also, yes. Very windy to add to that, and the sound of the wind. And then you find, because you are hearing all the stories, and you go there, all the people are doing the puja, at that time the departed souls have to come there and accept their offerings. So you find all the departed souls are moving there. Some people get really, yes, goosebumps they get. And they feel, what is happening here? Like that they feel. Some people are also afraid to enter there. That's a different thing. So it is a very holy place. We go there and we pray to Lord Vishnu. This Vishnu Pada is very important for the monks also. I'm taking 2-3 minutes extra. I hope devotees will not mind. For monks, when we do take sannyas, who is going to do this sraddha, these apsakis to us, because we don't have progeny. So who is going to perform our last rites? So before taking sannyas, we do the last rites for ourselves and leave that pinda, it's called pinda, at the feet of Lord Vishnu, and tell him, oh Lord Vishnu, it is surrendered at your feet. When this body will die, you give that to yourself, because nobody to do for me. So that's how we have. So the Vishnu Pada, it is called, that is the holy feet of Lord Vishnu. This place, mother went, and this particular ceremony, the rituals for master's mother. Thus, she has become very safe in the other worlds, wherever she is there. So that's how this important point I wanted to bring it to you. Thank you for overstepping my time. Om Kripang Kuru Mahadevi Suteshu Pranateshu Cha Charanasrayadanena Kripamayi Namostute. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. As most of you know,